Atlanta's Inspiration Station, Praise 1025 is Jacqueline Carr's Family Affair. Listen, family, I'm so excited, and this is the reason why you always have to stay tuned in because you never know who is stopping by the studio. And I'm excited because we have royalty inside the studio. We have Lee Daniels here with us. Clap it up, clap it up. We have Audra Day with us. Clap it up. And of course, Caleb McLaughlin. How are you? First of all, thank you all so much for being on the show. You have this new movie that is out called Deliverance. Let's talk about it. First of all, from my understanding, it's based on a true story. So,
It is based on
what
a true
drew
story.
you to the story?
But I changed it up a little bit because it was too. I didn't want it to be too close to the real story because I believe that spirits, both good and bad, can jump on you. So I changed it up a little bit. I made her mother white when she was in real life black. What drew me to the story was one. I don't think we see black. We don't see black thrillers. We don't see black spirit movies. Spirit, the type of movie this is. We don't see it. And what? And we're in dark times. We're in really dark times, and I think it's time for us to be delivered. For me to find my higher power. For me, it was Jesus. For those, it could be Allah or Buddha or whoever that your higher power is. But I wanted to scare you to it, and that was the intent of doing the film. And yeah,
Yeah. You, first of all, did an amazing job. Tell us about, the preparation for this role and the mindset that you had to be in to play the role.
So first of all, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The mindset I had to be in to play this role was one of prayer, one of surrender, one of trust. I had to trust Lee completely in this process, and that was I had to be intentional as well. I think for me it was, and actually interestingly enough, there's a lot of generational trauma that Ebony's character, we see her working through. She was abused, her mother was abused, and in turn her mother abused her, and then she's trying not to abuse her kids. She's a budding alcoholic, and she's trying to be the best mother that she can be. So there were personal traumas and like my own things that some things that I had to dredge up and reconcile in order to play her character. Like there was just no way to do it unless I was truthful in those areas of my life. And so I think it was one of surrender. It was definitely one of prayer and intention going into it, and then definitely one of trust, because as a believer, it mattered to me that the movie wasn't just about just demons and delving into the dark world, but it was a story of victory, because I think that's a believer's story, in my opinion.
One of the things that I think is very interesting when doing movies like this is that people and directors like yourself show how you end up there. You speak about the trauma, you speak about the abuse, and all of the things that happen. How important, as you're writing, as you're directing, and all of that, is it to get people to the message, like you said, of deliverance, get people to the place of victory and all of that as they're along their journey? Because it started somewhere. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
So basically, getting them to, instead of them staying in what they're in, they're
Yeah.
actually coming out of it.
Yes.
But in order to come out of it,
You got to go
have
through.
to
You got to.
address
Yeah, you got to
what
go through.
happened.
She says it beautifully by saying, to get to the light, you got to go through the darkness. And so, I think this is about going through the darkness and finding the light. And the demons, the personal demons that we all have in us. Everybody wakes up with demons.
Yeah.
How do we deal with them every day? And so I don't sugarcoat things. And I think that the film is like these two people that I'm Caleb and Andrew, both are believers. They believe. And I just lost my train of thought.
It's
okay.
7:08 in the morning.
Oh my goodness! I just thought my
It's all
Oh my
right.
goodness! I was
No.
saying something. I just lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
I can't believe I never do that.
Y'all been doing a lot of interviews. I
No,
get
no.
it.
But I think that you have to. I think that what's so beautiful about them is that they believe, and I think that I wanted to be surrounded by people that believed, and we became a family on this.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to working with them again and again.
yeah. Caleb, how was it for you working on this amazing movie?
Yeah, it was a real experience, honestly. I've worked with Lee before on Concrete Cowboy. He produced the movie a couple of years back, and having this conversation, hopping onto this project was a no-brainer. After watching Andra work on Billie Holiday, I was like, yeah, I have to join this cast, and reading the script, you see it's you're like, oh, it's a classic horror. Okay, cool. Like, you're going to be dealing with like the supernatural world, but watching the film is deeper than just, scaring and like, the spirit's possession.
There's actually a message.
There's a message, a real deep message that families and people could relate to, people deal with their own demons and battle with faith and believing in God. A lot of people have a hard time understanding who God is.
Yeah.
And people want to, with humans or people in general, knowing something has to be like a physical, like I know the water's there. A lot of people don't know how to move off of faith, A lot of people don't know how to, like, I give an example, like my dog, he doesn't like swimming because he doesn't know if the ground is there. Sometimes you need to just float, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just have to know that, you'll be fine.
Come on.
You know,
better
so
preach this morning.
Like, sometimes you just gotta tread water and let God lead the way. So, and I love attaching myself to projects that have a deeper message, and like working with everyone, I realized that everyone's like true artists.
Yeah.
It took Lee 2 years to finish editing and making this film because creativity takes time.
Right.
We're not here for. It's not about fame and like
Yeah.
the fortune. Like that's cool, but we're real artists. This is our expression,
Yeah.
and how can we do that? And go into it knowing this is bigger than us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. One last question for all three of you. What is one thing that you want people to take away from the movie after they watch it?
I can go.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
My brain is working now. So
Like I'm in the vein.
I'm there. Outside of this, of course, the movie of it being a faith-based film and finding your higher power is very important. But the work that everyone put into this on set, the stress that it is working on set, working with different personalities, people, especially this spiritually demanding movie, a lot of things can happen. Every time you work on like a demonic kind of film or script, like you kind of, like even though he's directing, you bring these spirits on. He's been working on this for about 10 years now. And to not only think about himself, he invited us into his home. It's bigger than just like, all right, guys, we made a movie, money. It's, like he didn't want to do this at first, but then found himself in a place where he felt that he needed to do it. Now the movie's done. It's gonna be out. People are gonna see it, but it's gonna resonate with a lot of people. It's gonna have a trickle down effect for a lot of up and coming directors, actors that that don't believe in God or that don't believe in anything. I think it's just powerful. I think it's gonna be bigger than this moment. I just encourage anybody, if they're doing anything, creativity and beautiful things take work.
Yes.
Takes time.
They do.
So
Yeah.
it's not easy.
I love that.
I love him.
I know.
He's so sweet. His heart.
He
Yes.
is super sweet too.
No.
Like, for him to like turn the lens
Yes.
eternal too,
Yeah.
remember like
Yes.
he's put
Yeah.
his whole life,
Yeah.
and his
Yeah.
whole time into this, and to remember what people on set gave. You know what I mean? While you're watching this, it's not just does it entertain me or not. I love that.
Yeah, it really takes time. People think we just get up and I have an idea. Let me call this. No,
Right.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot of people going against your ideas, and you have to trust yourself.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
For me, it's about when a black woman tells you to believe her, believe her. And I think that even with Kamala right now, you know, we see that people aren't believing her. When a black woman tells you something, believe her. Listen to her. That's one of many, but that's the first thing that comes to mind.
I love that. I love that.
I think.
Yeah, do you?
I love both of their answers. Honestly, I don't.
Thank you. I think
I think that. Oh, sorry.
you okay?
Yeah, not to. I love what both of them said, and I second exactly what both of them said. Also, I guess is to two things really is to we need to talk more and be more open to understanding and how to cope and give grace when we're dealing with mental illness and we're dealing with trauma and we're dealing with understanding that hurt people hurt people.
That's right.
And so those things need to be healed. You know what I'm saying? For me, that's at the foot of the throne. That's at the foot of the cross for me. But we need to talk about those things. We need to heal those things. And I think in addition to that, when it comes to, because we're talking about a faith-based thriller, when it comes to the darkness and when it comes to, you know, on this movie, evil spirits or demons, to remember that, you know, though it's not that we just toy with these things all the time, but to remember we have authority over them. You know what I'm saying? That's what made me say yes to this movie, was literally the Spirit of God leading me to remember that we have authority and we need to see us defeating these things, see them underfoot. And so light has to shine in dark places. So
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Well, congratulations to all three
Thank
of
you.
you.
Thank you.
And everybody who was a part of this movie. Congratulations on another hit. Another movie night with families all across the world getting their deliverance.
The deliverance,
Yes,
baby.
make sure you watch it and get the message in it. And whatever you have to do, make sure you get to your deliverance. Stay close. We got more coming your way. Don't miss the next one. It's Praise.